Hey Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Greece, where we're going for our diplomacy game. We're one turn away from picking up the diplomatic quarter, and I have to make a decision about where I actually put that down. I also, I was looking at my map here, and I could actually throw down a theater square on this stone tile right here. So I don't actually need to put it over here, and that'll get the advantage of being adjacent to the Oracle and the government plaza. So I'm kind of tempted to throw down a diplomatic quarter like here in Sparta maybe. I have a ton of harvesting to do, so getting builders out is going to be a big priority for me, and I think Mycenae might actually be the place to do that after the settler finishes. So I'm gonna switch over Liang to Mycenae and then assign Victor to Ephesus. I have a governor charge, and actually, you know what, if I'm gonna put Liang over here, maybe I would put Liang in this city and take the aquaculture promotion so I can have a really strong coastal city. So she'll probably get moved again once the settler is completed. So I'd like to head towards the universities. I'd like to head towards Patala Palace in particular. And going from Patala Palace is probably going to require me to go apprenticeship education astronomy in that sort of a formation. So that's what we're going to do. And I'd like to maybe see if I could get a couple more cities converted. I'm pretty close to my golden age. I'm not quite there, but I just need 5 more era score. And then we hit it. I am, of course, still working on converting some of these cities. And it probably might be a good idea to try to convert Lahore as well. And to that end, you know what? Yeah, let's buy a missionary here and swing up over there. We have our temple in Athens. Let's buy the tile for the Mahabodhi temple and immediately begin construction of the Mahabodhi temple. And then we'll also chop here. And that will not only force the city to grow, it'll speed up the time it takes for Mahabodhi to come, or rather speed up how quickly we're making the Mahabodhi, which is always nice. I'm going to use my last charge of Anansi here to unlock defensive tactics. And I have another governor title. I may go for provision here. I'm very close to a golden age, so I could do mass faith purchasing of settlers in Athens, because I have a ridiculous amount of land up here to settle. Not all of it is like super high quality, but it's still probably good enough to settle a good few cities here. Like there's definitely a city right there, and that pretty much claims all of this desert, and then there may even be more cities over here. They're going to be low production cities, which sucks naturally, but on the whole I don't mind that much. Anshan is one envoy away from being suzerain of us, or we're one envoy away from becoming suzerain of Anshan, so we're going to send them a trader. We will give open borders to Egypt and then request open borders, so we come out better in that exchange. Did I do the same for Sweden? I did. And I'm going to stop selling my luxuries now because my empire is big enough to where the negative luxuries are actually starting to hurt me. And I really do need to start picking up more luxury resources. If we do a little search here, you can see there's a ton of them around. I just haven't picked up many. I definitely need to get this gypsum online. The worry is the volcano. There are a couple of pearls over here and some diamonds. Another copy of diamonds would be cool. Let's go ahead and harvest here for 81 production. That'll take 2 turns off of the Mahabodhi temple. And I think my capital is more or less working the best tiles that it can. I mean, it's making 31 production per turn, which is kind of insane. And that's mostly thanks to the holy site. Speaking of which, I need more holy sites. If you're using work ethic and you're not building a whole lot of holy sites, I feel like you're messing up. The problem is that I just need to build some acropolises right now. So that's kind of been my priority. Anansi did just die. We got some era score for that, and the Appease the Gods finished. I didn't bother trying to compete for that because, you know, it's a lot of production. I'd rather just let the AI kill their units. But that extra 2 faith, 2 culture, and 10 tourism is going to stand to us pretty well. Ephesus is in a situation. I'd love to get the amphitheater up. I think I'm actually pretty close to getting a great writer here. I maybe want to get a granary in here to boost the city's population a little bit. So let's do that because it's currently housing capped. I want to place a district. Like I want to put down a holy site, but realistically I need to get a builder first to start, you know, clearing out some of this terrain. So I may actually go builder into granary, and then we'll move Liang over here once we get this settler in position. Still got a ton of settlers to purchase. I'm sitting on an envoy. I don't have the card plugged in that gives me +2, or I would take control of Kabul. So maybe that's what we look to do next in terms of our envoys and stuff like that. 4 turns until Mahabodhi is finished. I'm very, very excited about that. Being able to fully evangelize your religion essentially instantly is the really, really powerful part of that. And we'll be able to pick up pagodas and maybe even tithe or something like that for extra gold. Although, what did I already take? Yeah, I took cross-cultural dialogue, so tithe isn't an option. Now, I will be going for a holy site in here, and I do want that +2 here. So we'll get a builder in position to chop that tile. I am giving up a, arguably really good tile for a holy site, but I think the holy site is also worth it. There's Gnosis. Let's go ahead and get that luxury online. That luxury will hopefully prevent some of the luxury bleeding that we've been having. And we're going to immediately get to work on that +4 harbor. Harbor is going to be an important part of this city developing. Although that said, maybe a granary first would help this city to grow and actually work these tiles, and then like a monument. Yeah, I like that. I like the granary into monument play. It's a long-term play, but it does make the city very powerful in the long run. All right, great. We got our first great writer. Let's immediately create that great work of writing. That's mostly for the culture. I don't really care too much about the tourism from that. We're also sitting on 2 envoys. I could take suzerainty of Cahokia and then start planning Cahokia mounts. I could also take suzerainty of Buenos Aires for extra luxury amenities. Or basically let my bonus resources act like amenities. Somebody wants me to train a horseman, and I do have a horse tile available. So I think that's an option to make friends with Kabul. I'm gonna nab suzerainty of Cahokia. That just seems like the easiest choice here. And we have actually found Hippolyta. Now, she's not a hero I care too much about, but she still seems reasonable. Shop here, instantly finish the granary, force the city to grow. We'll place the holy site. I don't know if I'm going to go for the holy site immediately. It would be really, really nice to pick up the amphitheater to have room for great works of writing, so I think I'm going to do that. Let's spread our religion to Lahore. Awesome. We've got another city under our belt in terms of our religion, and we're picking up like 7 science right now from our religion, which is super, super powerful. Temple of Artemis just went, and we just got the Mahabodhi Temple. That's our first +2 diplomatic victory points, and we get 2 free apostles. Those 2 free apostles are immediately going to evangelize, which we will then use in order to pick up some new beliefs, namely pagodas for the diplomatic favor. And then really it's all about how we want to spread or defend our religion. I think that I feel like itinerant preachers is really good, as is scripture, but I'm going to take itinerant preachers because what that does is it allows your cities to overlap their pressure like much more effectively, which means you get a higher pressure overall earlier into the game, I feel like. And I think I'll faith purchase a pagoda as soon as I have the faith for that. In my capital, I'm going to purchase a granary in here because this city has a huge growth potential with all these really high food, high production tiles. So if we can get it to keep getting population, that would be amazing. I'd also really, really like to build a theater square in here. I could work on settlers. Magnus does have the provision promotion. I could get the watermill, which would further boost the city's, potential. But this is actually relatively small considering we don't have any farming resources. I think maybe I should consider an aqueduct in here. Like if I'm thinking about an aqueduct, that does open up potential for an industrial zone in this city. And I could use both of those things. Like if I were to put an aqueduct here, that would give me a +2 industrial zone here, which would also get +1 from that. So that's +3. And then from being adjacent to 4 districts, this would actually be a +5 industrial zone in my capital. And it would also hit like the majority of my empire with its, AoE production. Yeah, pretty much hits all of the cities here. So it would hit 4 cities, and then I could just get another industrial zone over here in the east, maybe one up here in the north, and then another one over here in the east. Did I say east here? I meant west. But yeah, we got the Mahabodhi Temple, which is a really, really big deal because now we're ahead in the diplomatic victory in the department. I don't want to spend my faith on a pagoda, but I think it's the right move here because the pagoda will pay for itself over a reasonable period of time. And I'd rather chop that tile, especially with Magnus in this city. Do you know what? I'm just going to go hard on settlers because this city can build them in 3 turns. And we have the Ancestral Hall, so we'll get massive benefits out of settling. We are very, very late to settling. Like, we're only on 5 cities at turn 84, which is really like 3 to 4 cities behind where we should be. But when you consider that we went for Mahabodhi Temple and for the Oracle here, I think that's like the trade-off that we just have to accept. We discovered Sinbad. I don't know how we discovered Sinbad. That doesn't make any sense to me. I guess we discovered a new continent over here. Now that makes a bit more sense. I don't think I'm gonna go for Sinbad this game. We got a builder in Sparta. Let's get that horse tile online, and then let's switch this tile over. Since we harvested it, we can place our Acropolis. Do I immediately build the Acropolis? It is really damn powerful, and it also gives me an envoy. I do want to build these things eventually, but I think the Acropolis is just so good that it's hard to ignore. Let's switch Liang over now that we finished the builder in here. We'll put her into Knossos. Mycenae will go ahead and finish this. I need to kind of like think about how I'm going to set this city up. I haven't done a huge amount of planning for it. This could be my industrial zone city for this local area, because there's ample chop here. I could put like an aqueduct there. Then, well, actually, no. Yeah, because this is ideally maybe where I want to have my Acropolis, which means maybe this isn't the city to do it. And I'd probably do that over here in this planned city, where I'd go for like something of this configuration, you know, aqueduct, dam, industrial zone. That'll cover these cities, and perhaps even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll even cover this city, and I can leave this one without an industrial zone. Like, that's fine. Covers most of my empire. The real question is, am I settling 2 cities down south or 1? I feel like it's got to be, man, 1 is hard to grab everything I want, because I'd like to get a really good campus here, but I'd also like to grab these pearls. So maybe this is the only tile that's an option for me. I mean, this will be an incredibly good city, so I think that's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and purchase the pagoda like we said we would. Boom. Now we're making 4 diplomatic favor per turn, which is insane. We're going to be able to dictate a lot when it comes to world congresses this game. I'm going to place the Acropolis in my capital because I want those envoys as well as the culture. Let's see how improving this gypsum goes. The extra luxury, again, is awesome, and we have like an incredibly good tile for this city to work. But also, if I can get a second copy of gypsum, I might be able to get myself an industry or something. Right, we'll harvest in Mycenae to finish the monument and begin work on the Acropolis right there. And just as I improved the quarry, it got damaged. That's okay, because I do have a builder in position to repair it. And I'll probably just park this builder here to just keep repairing this and keep it online. We are in a golden age like we expected. Let's grab monumentality for the extra builders and the ability to purchase builders, or rather the faith purchasing is just insane. So I think faith purchasing builders and settlers is super good for us right now. Capital is fine. I don't need another amphitheater. I will need one soon, however, to be able to house these great works. So maybe I go for the amphitheater. Then again, I feel like if I can build settlers in 4 turns, I should build settlers. Like, that's just my take right there. That city is insane. Okay, in terms of Acropolis, I have finished the monument in Mycenae. I think there may actually be an aqueduct going here in this city, even though is this on freshwater? It's actually off of freshwater. So yeah, aqueduct in this city is great, and it maximizes the potential of this industrial zone. So we'll probably chop out the Acropolis a little bit and then see where we can take that. Okay, so it's the first one of these. The worrying thing, most people are going to vote for Great Rider points being blocked, I think, because it's the thing that most people aren't earning. So I'm going to have to just eat that one, I think. I'll vote twice on or maybe 3 times on Great Riders. And then in terms of duplicate luxuries, I actually don't see which luxury people might vote for. The question is, have you guys met Japan? If they've met Japan, then there's a good chance that they'll vote down something here. So I'm just going to vote down marble and pray that that was the right choice. The fact that I just don't have enough information about who's on the map right now really sucks. I may want to build a couple of explorers. Oh, great generals! Wow, so I only got 1. I was expecting great riders, but it looks like most people actually went for great generals, which is cool. So I was actually thinking great general. You know, funny enough, I was thinking great general, and I only lost that like very slightly. But we managed to get marble past pretty easily, which is good. In fact, if I was confident in marble, I should have just put 1 point in there and then the rest in here, and maybe I could have won that, but it's fine. But there's feudalism. We now have +2 build charges on our builders. I think I'll take away literary tradition now that I'm earning enough Great Rider points of my own merit. And I mostly like this government that we have right here. It is very diverse. We have a ton of production, faith and gold, all plugged in. Maybe Diplomatic League would be good to plug in for a few turns. To be able to just pick up like a little bit of extra envoyage with Kabul. I could even, sneak in suzerainty of Kabul immediately. and maybe meet a couple of players, or even just find out more about the map. Civic-wise, we have feudalism, and I think it would be good to go ahead and get our alliances online. And we're going to want spies and stuff like that this game too. I also need to remember that we're in the medieval era, so promoting the Elves of Minerva is going to be an important part of our strategy here. So we also want to think about commercial hubs this game. That's going to be an important part of our overall game plan, to be able to start trading with these city-states and building up, envoys with them. So there's a lot of things I have to kind of keep in my head as I'm playing here. Let's chop here to finish the Acropolis and open up the placement of that aqueduct, like so. I probably go granary first and then aqueduct, because the granary actually helps you grow in terms of food income. Let's also harvest here to instantly finish the Acropolis in this city. And then we'll go for a granary, because I need my cities to start growing a bit taller, so things like granaries are going to be useful. I'm sitting on Envoy. Let's send that to Venice to get +2 with them, because I have the +2 card plugged in. And, you know, things are looking pretty nice here. I'm a little bit upset that I'm not Suzerain of Anshan again, so I've lost a little bit of Diplo favor. She wants to trade some great works. I'm going to refuse that deal. I want to hold on to my Diplo favor as well, because I want to be able to sway votes as much as possible. I only have 3 points right now, which means I'm essentially only 1 point up, which is really terrible. I should be on 4 points right now. The fact that I'm on 3 kind of sucks. We can create another great work of writing, which is amazing. I'm going to pop those into a thesis. Let's make sure we renew a friendship with Cleopatra. I should have done that a few turns ago, just to keep things secure. I don't have any spare luxuries to sell her. And so amphitheater's finished in here. I definitely would like some commercial hubs. Is it worth it to build a builder? No, you know what? I think I'm just going to... No, I want to save my faith purchasing for maybe more settlers. Although that said, I'll start faith purchasing builders in Knossos. But I need a builder in here to justify placing things, because there's a lot of stuff that I can delete. But I think Ephesus is going to go for a commercial hub next. And I want to break up this rainforest a bit, because the high yield tiles are great, but the damage from forest fires getting out of control can be very, very scary. So I think it would be good to minimize that risk. Actually, funny enough, I had a second save file where I played about 5 turns before my recording crashed, and I was like, oh, I'll just start from beginning. And this forest in here went on fire and completely devastated both of these cities. And there was nothing I could do about it. They both lost a ton of population. I mean, I had really nice tiles, sure, but it was rough, man. You know what? I actually think it's worth it to crush this forest for a +3 commercial hub, and I want that trade route as soon as possible, pending on the city as well. You know what? This is actually a great candidate of a city for a harbor commercial hub setup, as is Knossos, realistically. I kind of wish now that I hadn't put my harbor here. I kind of wish I'd put it here so I could do like Statue of Liberty here, put that there, maybe a commercial hub, but you know, it's fine. If there is a commercial hub going here, I feel safe chopping that tile to get that granary done sooner. And maybe even also harvesting this to force the city into population growth. Sure, I'm maxing out the city's growth, but I think that's worthwhile. I also need to start thinking about Cahokia amounts, because I believe the Cahokia amount gets a lot of adjacency from districts. So if I could place it like next to 2 districts and get envoys from it, like right here, or not envoys, but amenities. This city has +1 amenity. If I place the Cahokia amount, it like jumps up to +2, which gives me a nice buffer. It doesn't actually change the yields of the city, but it gives me like a pretty reasonable tile to work. And I didn't have anything planned here anyway, at least in the short term. So I think a Cahokia amount is pretty reasonable. Settlers in position down in the south. Let's go ahead and found the city. I'm worried that I'm blocking this bananas tile. Do I walk 1 tile down to keep that bananas tile open in case I want to settle a city there? I'm kind of tempted. I move off of freshwater. That's the only thing I don't like, so I think I'll actually just stay in place. Now, Argos is going to be building my campus. So there's actually a +6 campus right here, believe it or not, on that marsh. But did I never get irrigation? Okay, whoops. I thought I had irrigation. Yeah, no wonder I couldn't build it there. But yeah, the campus is 100% going there. Let's put a few turns into a granary. We need to grow our cities. We need to place more districts. We got our next writer, which is a small problem for me, because I'm earning great writers faster than I can earn slots for them. And I got another missionary because I'd like to convert more cities over to my side, because I'm getting 10.5 science for that. That's a huge amount of science. Got our next settler. Let's send this one up over here. Maybe it would be good to send it far, actually, to try to capture this area before, Japan tries to settle across the water. I would have loved to grab these luxuries here too, but just not going to work out for me. Let's pick up the amphitheater again, for room for these great works. More culture. Culture is one of our win condition yields. It's like really super important that we get enough culture. And also improving luxuries are going to be super important for us this game too. I think I already have a copy of Pearls, so I'm not in a rush to get extra Pearls. However, Pearls does give a lot of faith in the form of extra faith yield from volcanic soil. And if I were able to place a Pearls industry here in this city, this may actually be like an incredible city for generating faith income on top of everything else. So I feel like a Pearls industry here absolutely makes sense down in Argos. I always get like a little chuckle out of saying the name Argos because one of our shopping retailers here in Ireland is called Argos, and you can basically buy all sorts of useful things there. You can buy pretty much whatever you want. But it always makes me laugh. But yeah, now we have the faith income in this city boosted. That's gonna work in our favor heavily because a ton of these volcano tiles are gonna give us faith. It may even be worth it again to purchase these. Although Anshan isn't gonna be grabbing them for a long time, so I think I can take my time on that front. In terms of governor title, I don't need the Gilded Vault yet, so I can actually hold off on that. Maybe I would be better off promoting someone else. I don't think Liang is the promote here. I don't think Magnus is the promote here, and I don't think Victor is. So perhaps someone like Moksha or Amani would be really, really good. Reina is nice for the double adjacency here. So maybe I'll appoint Reina and slap her down in Mycenae, and then put my next governor title in there. I'm trying to avoid using Pingala because he's like the meta, and I want to do something a little bit off meta, something weird and quirky and just kind of different, which is kind of natural when you're doing a diplomatic game. You don't usually play to the strengths of the actual gameplay because I feel like diplomacy victory is kind of it's like a tier 2 win condition. It's not something you should super hardcore go for because it's not as reliable as the other win conditions. I mean, it's fun though, so that's what it has going for it. The question is, what do I do with these build charges? I think I'm going to send them to my capital. And actually, speaking of my capital, I'm going to just buy a couple of builders in here. One in my capital and then one over in Knossos. I bought the one in my capital because I have a couple of chops in here that I want to make. And then I bought the one in Knossos because it's just an efficient 6-charge builder. And if I had bought it over here, I'd have to walk it all the way over to Athens, which is far from ideal. You're actually never going to escape. You can't run from this, so you're dead, unfortunately. I just lost an archer to a quadrireme. Let's go ahead and chop there to finish the amphitheater. We'll place our aqueduct. We want to keep this city growing, so housing is important. It actually looks like there's a bit of a loyalty problem in Sais, which could work out pretty nice for me. Amphitheater done in the capital city. Boom. Another great work slapped down into that city. And now we have the palace open again. Let's see. I'm not actually growth capped at the moment. I will be very soon, and this would give me an extra 2 housing to keep growing. So I'll grab aqueduct and then head back into settler production, because I planned to harvest these bananas to force the city up in population. We're sitting on an envoy. Let's send it to Anshan to try to keep control of them. That extra Diplo favor is huge, and I've already invested heavily into them. We'll chop here. That'll boost the city to 10 population, which will boost civil service. It's exactly what we want. Perfect. And we're 1 turn away from the aqueduct. I can place now my industrial zone like so. So everything is starting to work out very nicely for me in here. Now we can start to get alliances. I think I'm going to start with an economic alliance with Cleopatra. That would encourage her to trade with me. Ideally, I would get actually, you know what? I think a research alliance is good to encourage her to trade with me, which will lower the amount of trading she does with city-states, which means I end up in a better position because she's not getting the envoys from trading with the city-states because she's also Elves of Minerva. So, and if she does trade with me, I end up with a little bit of extra science. So that all works out nicely. Now, Medieval Fairs want me to maintain. Could go for Angkor Wat this game. It's not bad. +1 housing in all cities could be quite nice. And I think I'm especially thinking about that 100% Theatre Square adjacency card for Medieval Fairs. So we'll grab that. This looks like a decent deal. I give her a bit of my Diplo favor and open borders. She has a lot of Diplo favor though. Maybe I just want to do open borders and preserve my Diplo favor because I need to be winning. I need to be winning those World Congress things, and she's quite far away, so I feel safe doing a cultural alliance with her. And I'll even see if she'll give me like 50 gold for it. Like every little bit of gold works out for me. Commercial hub in Ephesus done. Grab the market for the trade route. That's going to allow us to just start generating even more envoys. We've got our monument in Knossos. Let's place the Acropolis but we'll get the harbour first because we want the trade route and the housing in here. And this will probably be a candidate city for the commercial hub as well in here. That would have been a good commercial hub, but you know, it's also a better theatre square. Right, chop out that settler, one turning him, and then we can immediately get to work on the industrial zone in here and start building up the power and production of that city. It's already an absurdly productive city, which makes me happy. The holy site thing is working out great for us. We've got another about 10 turns, about 7 to 10 turns until our next great rider. So we'll want to think about our next theatre square as well. A little bit worried about the encroachment of Protestantism on Eastern Orthodoxy, so I'll have to keep an eye on that because I'm actually losing a bit of science from that, from all those conversions happening, which is not ideal. We'd like to be the religious powerhouse of our continent, just to make sure we can secure that extra science, because we haven't really built any campuses, so we're relying pretty heavily on that. We're also relying heavily on the science from Anshan giving our great works some extra science, which is why I'm, partially why I'm fighting so hard for suzerainty of them. Capital is starting to run into food problems, and we want to get it up to 13 population so we can place a commercial hub in here. Yeah, I think the commercial hub is like the last district I want in here. So figuring out a way to get extra food in here is going to be important. May involve, I may just have to wait until I get the diplomatic service card, Visselbanken, which gives me +2 food and production for trade routes to city-states that I'm suzerain of, and just accept that the city's going to grow a little bit slower for now. Although, yeah, maybe we have to accept that. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to think about that for a minute and see if we can come up with a better solution. Education is finished, which means we are 1 tech away from Patala Palace. 19 turns from now, we'll be working on that. This is probably my best candidate for my next amphitheater. Yeah, we're super close to our next great rider. Let's just chop that out, and we'll get it around about the time our next great rider pops. Granary in Sparta. Pretty important for us to get our diplomatic quarter now. That holds a lot of really important buffs, +1 diplomatic favor for each delegation or embassy from a foreign civilization, and it gets an extra envoy if it's built next to the city center. Also, getting the consulate and stuff in that city is going to be super helpful. Argos has finished its granary, and it's time to place that +6 campus, the absolute god campus right here. That is ridiculous look. Let's harvest here to finish that industrial zone ever so slightly faster and fill up this population bar ever so slightly faster as well. Oh, we found the Matterhorn. That's +3 combat strength to units that stand near it. Where is the Matterhorn? And where did I even find it? Oh, it's all the way over here. Interesting. So there may actually even be open land up here for me to settle. I should really go hard on settling now. Let's swap this tile to Ephesus. This will eventually probably be a commercial hub or something, but if I put the Cahokia Mound here, it gives this city just a better tile to work and an extra amenity, which will bring it up to that +3 amenity threshold that we want cities to be hitting for that 10% boost to all of its yields. Unfortunately, we are popping a city down right in the face of a Japanese missionary, which means he might convert this city and start producing, loyalty pressure here, which I really don't want, but getting Eritrea up is nice. Now, I think this is a coastal city without a good holy site, so it'll probably be a harbour city, a harbour commercial hub city, and maybe an acropolis. So those will be the 3 districts we go for in here. Let's start with the harbour, I guess, because that one, it's off of fresh water, it gives the city extra housing, it'll help it grow and reach the other districts. Pop a mine down in Mycenae. Being able to chop and then place a mine feels really, really good on those grassland hills. Oh, they actually didn't try to kill me over here. That's really interesting. I'm quite surprised by that. I might actually be able to escape. But yeah, we got the +3 era score for building a industrial zone with adjacency of 4 or higher. That's because in the capital we have a +5 industrial zone. This early into the game, a +5 adjacency industrial zone is a little bit crazy. I really do need to start respecting the work ethic pantheon a lot more. If you can get like a really high adjacency campus, it does work. Let's start on a couple more settlers because we can build them ridiculously quick. And did I actually unlock the card? No, I haven't unlocked Theatre Square adjacency yet, but that's definitely coming down the pipeline. Let's faith purchase a builder in Ephesus so that we can get a honey industry here. Although, actually, do I have a second copy of gypsum? That's, like, if I can answer that question, it kind of changes my plans. I just don't have a second copy of gypsum. I just have the one right here, which means I think honey is the right choice, because the honey industry gives you 20% growth and +3 housing, which would be superb in Ephesus as a city that could really, really use that growth and housing. Then again, do I want to use this industry to like boost an already really good city, or do I want to use it to make a bad city good? And I'm actually leaning towards the bad city good side of things, because that would extremely rapidly increase how quickly this city is going to be useful. We're kind of fresh in a new era, so let's have a look at missions. Somebody wants a great scientist, somebody wants a pikeman, Eureka for shipbuilding now, which I think that's 2 galleys, right? Yeah, so 2 galleys should be easy to do. Send a trade route to Fez. Fez, you're literally across the world. Send a trade route to Lahore. That should be doable. Construct an encampment and train a horseman. Of all of those, I think the training of galleys one is gonna be my easiest. So if I just come in like to Mycenae and pop out 2 galleys, that's going to be taking care of one of them. And if I just come into Ephesus and build a horseman in like a few turns, I think that's going to take care of the other half of that. In terms of an encampment though, man, it's going to be hard to find an encampment placement. I did buy a builder over here, which now feels like a little bit of a waste since I haven't moved Magnus over here for the great chopping. Oh my god, the turn after I build this honey, this honey industry, it gets pillaged and like better yields from this flowing through from this dust storm, which is kind of cool that it like fertilized so many tiles. That's really, really neat. It's making this city over here way more viable. This one down here is it still kind of sucks. Mark it up in Ephesus, grab ourselves a trader to be able to trade with more city-states. That'll get shunted over to the capital eventually. Pop down another mine in Mycenae and re-improve the camp. Lovely. I thought these things couldn't get killed by I thought they couldn't get destroyed by weather effects. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. Medieval Fairs is complete. I do think that Merchant Confederation 17 gold is really hard to pass up. It may even be better to plug that in over Conscription because it's a straight up better card. Aesthetics though is insane, so maybe I plug in Merchant Confederation and add Aesthetics because this just all fits together incredibly well. Man, I don't know if I should have colonization in, but I haven't been faith purchasing my settlers, which is something I should really get around to doing and start converting a lot of my faith towards. But this just feels like a way better government. I'm picking up like nearly, what, 14, 15 gold in positive and an extra 17 culture in exchange for like a little bit of like not great stuff. I mean, that seems, you know, very much so the right choice. Medieval Fairs did also give us a governor title, and it would be good to pick up the Chancery, because I do have 6 envoys in quite a few city-states. I'm also considering heading for exploration for just getting more cards. Getting an extra economic and an extra, you know, wild card, policy card is going to be super useful. All right, another settler's in position. Pop him down right there. Corinth has been settled, and we can start moving out the next settler. We are 12 turns from Patala Palace. Ooh, I could go for Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat has appeal to me, but it's a 17 turn build and I'm 12 turns from that anyway. I think I just continue to produce settlers in here and hope that we can survive. I'm going to say don't prioritize faith, but I will lock in those volcano tiles. Production is just way more valuable to me in the long run. Now, Corinth is a city where I 100% of the time I go for this holy site right there, so I'm willing to spend that money and walk that builder over. Now, Knossos will be fed from the sea, so I feel safe now chopping out the rainforest in here to get that a little bit sooner. And I'm even, man, I've been trying to save my faith for settlers. And I think that is what we're going to do. In here, I'll just do a quick, maybe a quick granary to get that city building up. All right, we're going to rebuild the bees. Let's hope it doesn't get murdered again. Oh, Catherine, very nice. It's an honor to meet you. We can exchange information on our capital. So she's pretty far away. Not like super far, but like within war range, I would say, in the late game. And we'll send her a delegation. We will go for open borders. We'll offer her open borders. We'll request open borders. I'll even sell. Oh, she has honey, actually. So maybe I don't need to sell her honey. She doesn't have any great works. I don't think anyone has any great works. I think it's just me. This is like epics and relics and stuff. But they're way too expensive to buy those at the moment. And I'm not going for a culture victory, and these just don't really work super well for a diplomatic victory. I really want to trade with Lahore, but they're just out of my trade range. Maybe it would be good to trade with someone else. Who am I looking for envoys with at the moment? If I'm considering trades, then right now Buenos Aires has some appeal. Cahokia I'm already suzerain of, but getting more, you know, envoys with them would be good. I think Buenos Aires might be the play here because it gets me really, really close to suzerainty with them. I just need one more envoy and then we're good to go. Awesome. So Egypt just sent me an envoy, which once I finish my diplomatic quarter should lead me to get an extra diplomatic favor in my capital. send this trade route to Athens, because we ideally would maybe trade with like Anshan again or something. And with the completion of that trader in Ephesus, maybe worth thinking about how we get our next district slot in here. Although I have most of the districts I care about. The only one I would maybe look into getting is like an entertainment complex for the amenities, to spread some late game amenities around. Otherwise, I think this city could safely just like build settlers or even, spam out builders. I'm actually kind of tempted to get a few scouts or even like some heavy chariots to do some scouting with them. Maybe scouts are the right call. So maybe I'll build 2 scouts and then like a horseman. Because I just need to find more people. I need to find more information. The more information I have, the easier it's going to be to control the World Congress. Let's put an envoy with Buenos Aires. There we go. A little bit of era score and suzerainty there. We're up to 8 diplomatic favor per turn. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, it may be good to build that holy site for the pagoda. I want that diplo favor. I'm probably going to want holy sites everywhere eventually for that extra diplo favor, because a single holy site to me is worth like the same amount of diplo favor as an entire alliance, which is kind of insane to think about. First galley complete, +2 era score, and this little old galley is going to be put on auto explore, because I just don't care for micromanaging my galleys. All right, you could judge me, you could hate me, it just is who I am. Let's trade with Anshan again. We want to make sure that we're constantly putting envoys in there to get control of them. Looks like Ephesus is currently boxed in to where they're actually grabbing tiles, 4 tiles out from their city, so we can actually get Argos another really good tile in here. I think Magnus is done in my capital. Let's reassign Magnus over to Ephesus. We'll promote Reina with Harbour Master and eventually Tax Collector as well, so she can be just like a very stationary gold producing figure in Mycenae. I also have the faith to purchase a settler, so let me redo that here. I'm going to put you back in my capital, and then I can safely take advantage of the settler purchasing without losing a population. So I got 2 settlers this turn. Man, this land over here isn't great, but there is some lovely land to settle on the the coastlines and stuff here. I think I'm going to cancel that city and instead just put one here. That way these 2 cities basically claim the entirety of this desert, and then maybe like a city up here to block any stuff here, and then maybe like a city here to grab the honey, to have a little bit more honey. It would be nice to be able to trade luxuries away and stuff like that. Envoys. Let's put one into Kabul to take back suzerainty of them. More diplo favor for me. Chop in here to instantly get ourselves a granary. We'll start the holy site. City will take a while to build it, but we'll be able to get some builder chops in here too. Knowledge of shipbuilding, perfect. I think one of the city-states wanted me to learn shipbuilding. I do want to plug in Trade Confederation eventually. Maybe when I have a few more trade routes. In terms of missions, still great scientists, still pikemen. I think horsemen was one of them. And I think we'll do that in Ephesus here after the holy site is done. I would like an encampment too. So if I can maybe work out how to do that, I'll be supremely happy. Man, Mycenae has got production, dude. Very nice. Tempted to purchase the consulate in here for the extra 2 influence points per turn. That's a lot of influence. We're currently making 6. We're making 3 per turn. So that's a huge upgrade here. So we'll buy the consulate to go up to 5 influence points per turn. And then when we switch to Merchant Republic, I believe it will give us also an extra 2 per turn, and also more efficiently convert them over into envoys. So I think we're making like 7 influence per turn, and then I might see if I can plug in that card to once I have the Patala Palace. That diplomatic policy slot will basically be reserved for the card that gives me extra influence, so I could just have more envoys throughout the game. But yeah, the consulate is super brilliant, because it means if I'm worried about spies, I can just build encampments in cities, and it also, just gives me influence. Looking at great people, I'm about 7 to 8 turns for my next great rider, which means I want to be 7 to 8 turns for my next amphitheater. So I'll pop an amphitheater down in Sparta and then purchase a builder in Knossos to send to Sparta to open that up. Boom, 2 food, 3 production on the city center in Olympia, and we're working a 2 food, 2 production desert tile in this city. I think this will just basically be like an Acropolis commercial hub city. You know what? Petra is still available. oh baby, you give me my Petra. Purchase a granary in here to grow that city 9 turns sooner, which means we're working another tile 9 turns sooner. Oh man, if I can get the Petra, that would be like the icing on my cake. +3 era score from a campus with high adjacency. We just finished this campus down here. I don't need that pin anymore actually. Hindsight is 2020. And we don't need the boost from building the university because we basically have the Patala Palace. Almost certainly gonna be a like harbor Acropolis city. The question is, do I go Acropolis or harbor first? City could have potentially, I think I go Acropolis first. City's growing fast though, so maybe harbor first for the extra housing. Settler in Athens, we'll pop that settler down right there. We have a builder, we'll delete the pin. What's our holy site situation looking in this city? We have a +3, so let's do it. We'll grab that +3, we'll immediately harvest that tile to get that sooner. I'd say anything above a +3, +3 or higher is like a worth a build in terms of holy sites in my opinion. I've also been heavily neglecting my army. That's something I need to rectify because I have a very, very tiny military. So does everyone else essentially. But the longer I neglect it, the worse my situation becomes. Let's spend a bit of time in the capital actually building some military. I'll grab myself a hoplite because it's my unique unit. It might give me a bit of era score. It might be worth it to save that for the next era. But if I can maybe get that upgraded into a pikeman, that'll complete a city-state mission this era. And then I'll get another mission next era. Boom, hoplite complete, +4 era score. I'll send him out somewhere random. Maybe I'll use him to escort this settler actually, because I plan to embark this settler over here to see if I can get up on this land. Ooh, I'm liking the idea of going for an amber thing here in Corinth, because this could be a good faith production city. It lacks a volcano, so maybe I look for amber near a volcano. Yeah, I just don't think we have amber near a volcano, unfortunately. Where am I getting my oh, I'm getting one from Buenos Aires. Yeah, you know what? It's an acceptable place to put that industry. It'll give the city a production tile, get that up and running faster. I could send 2 envoys to Lahore to get suzerainty of it, or I could hold onto those envoys and then in 2 turns I could quickly plug in. You know what I could do actually? Here's something sneaky. For a couple turns, next turn I could purchase out my government, place in the double envoy for first envoy card, and then switch back upon exploration. So I like that plan. That seems sufficiently sneaky for me to want to do it. Awesome. There's our first harbor with +4 adjacency, +3 era score from that bad boy. We only need like a little bit of era score here to extend our monumentality Golden Age by quite a bit, and building Patala Palace could be a big part of that. Also, I'm getting some strategic resource units. Maybe it would be a good idea to pick up like bronze working. Trying to think, a new government will actually help too. So there's a lot of things I can do here. The lighthouse is fairly expensive. I usually prefer to buy it. I'm going to need another Acropolis with an amphitheater soon. I have one almost ready for Geoffrey Chaucer. So I think I have time to go lighthouse in here. Do I have time to go lighthouse in here? Really, this place just needs more builders. You know what? Let's just purchase a builder in here, and then we'll work on lighthouse. Lighthouse is great for those trade routes, man. I don't know about you guys, but I find it really, really satisfying to build really nice harbors in this game. I don't know, it just is fun. It just is a fundamentally fun thing to do, to like plan your cities out and like get really nice adjacency and just like get really big yields and stuff like that. It's probably one of the most fun parts of the whole game. We met Zulu over here in Perth. Now, I'm no, I'm no like mapologer or whatever you call a geography wizard, but this dude, I'm pretty sure Perth isn't a Zulu city, so I'm worried that they may have murdered some Australians here. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and trade open borders with the what I presume to be murderous man. He did take Elsa Minerva, which is cool because our relationship should be good. I wonder if he will give me a delegation. I totally forgot to plug in the I totally forgot to plug in the card for +2 first envoy things. So yeah, I just forgot. We can now plug in conscription for free for +9 gold, which is cool. It's like the most positive card we can. And we can use those 2 envoys, kaboom, kaboom, to get +2 envoys in both of those city-states. And things are looking insane on the envoy front. I don't even know how many I have. In fact, the easiest way to count is actually to look in here. I have 28 envoys in cities on turn 117. That's pretty damn good. In terms of our next moves, I think diplomatic service to pick up the chancery is a good move here. That +3 influence points per turn. And I think I'm going to save up gold for that. That's going to propel our envoy rate to a pretty insane level. Roughly right now, we're getting an envoy every 16 to 17 turns once we have the other card in that gives us 2 influence. if we can get the Chancery, that would come down to an envoy about every about 12 to 13 turns, because we'll be getting about 12 influence per turn. You need 150, so that's about 12 and a half. Yeah, that's actually exactly 12 and a half turns per envoy, which is a lot. Considering a trade route takes at least 20 turns to get you an envoy, that's very, very nice. Now, normally I would go for Intelligence Agency here, but since we're going for like a heavily city-state based play, I might just go for Foreign Ministry. That +3 diplomatic favor is super useful. Half cost leveraging and city-state units are stronger. This could be really helpful when I'm defending my city-states. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up Foreign Ministry this game. Now, Patala Palace is ready, and it's going to take 25 turns, but my capital makes 41 production. I would be really, really surprised if somebody could beat me to Patala Palace. But on the eve of building the Patala Palace, I will call it there. I love you all very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. In terms of a victory condition update, we're still at 3 of 20, but next episode, we should be able to get that up to around 10 of 20. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.